So welcome everyone. My name is Doug Lean. I'm with the City of Auburn Office of Economic Development. I'm the manager here, and along with Josh Arndt, Senior Economic Development Officer. So Josh and I are going to act as the techies and kind of keep the running total on this as far as time, and try to get some information and all our good speakers out to you. Just to give you a lineup, we have Dana Hinman, Director of Administration for the City of Auburn, is going to talk about some local things and general updates, and a couple of 2-3 things that the city has done, I think, to help businesses. We have Matt Lund with Sermo Digito, who is our company that we contract with to help run our local buy local program and local marketing activity we do. We have Kevin O'Brien with Priest Consulting, a local Auburn company that has helped us develop the buy local Auburn technology that we advertise and put out to the public to advertise all the local businesses. We have Casey Bray with the Auburn Chamber of Commerce, who is going to talk about resources and help that they are making available to their members, and I believe probably the whole business community in general right now. We have Jason Morgan with iLocal, a local Auburn company that works on website development and web optimization technology and resources for making your advertising dollars stretch. We have Tim Brockholm, professor with Green River College, who's the past chair of the entrepreneurship program, and Taryn Hornby with the SBDC out of Green River College. So we have a really good lineup of folks, and I think you'll learn a lot. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dana, and she's going to talk about some local resources and activity going on and activity from the city's perspective.
Okay, thank you, Doug, and thank you, Doug and Josh, for pulling this together for our businesses. On behalf of Mayor Backus, who intended to be here today, but we threw her on a call to try to get some more money from some of the funding sources that are coming in. So Doug asked me to just hit on a few points. The first, just kind of generally, you know, what is the general update with the virus as it relates to Auburn. I just jumped into the King County has set up a data map that shows information by zip code, and what I can tell you about Auburn is that I believe this data was current as of yesterday, that we have had 721 people in Auburn tested. 83 have tested positive, and we have had 3 deaths of Auburn residents related to the virus. And this was something that we had asked for kind of from the outset, to be able to drill down to that data so we knew what kind of impact the virus was having on our city. The hospital would inform us when they had COVID patients that they were treating. Most of them that they have treated have been from other hospitals. So it was hard for us to answer the question to our residents of, you know, how many people have it here and have we had anybody die? And we couldn't really say, because most of the patients that were coming into the hospital early on were not residents here, but they were being treated here. So now we're able to get a little bit more specific data from King County Public Health. Overall, the hospital tells us they're doing okay. Their system does not appear to be overwhelmed with patients. It appears that people are taking heed of not making unnecessary visits to the hospital, although their staff does indicate that personal protective equipment is always needed. They've been under a conservation state for probably just to make sure that they were able to keep what they had, and they do expect more to come in. The current stay home, stay healthy order that has been issued by the governor, he did give a press conference yesterday. If you didn't listen in, his press conference was really centered around a lot of questions that you all have been asking in that what constitutes an essential business as that order came down, and does my business fit into any of those categories? Can I stay open? If I do stay open, what should I do? We do know that there are some businesses that are operating when they shouldn't be, and that is why the Attorney General was in on that press conference to just kind of indicate and plead with the business community, as difficult as it is, that if you should be closing, if you were asked to close your doors, you need to close your doors and send your employees home. He did not announce yesterday if he was going to extend the statewide order or not. We expect that he will, since the federal government appears to be pushing out the timeline for when we may hit the peak of infections in the United States. So we are planning internally that at least an April 30th stay home order will probably be announced in probably the near future. Can't say exactly when. And the other thing that was interesting in the governor's press conference that we also wanted to communicate out is that we are getting asked directly, am I an essential business? Am I allowed to stay open, or am I supposed to close? And there's kind of an urban myth on the street now that there's some sort of permission or an official letter that can come from the city that will tell you whether or not you can stay open. And we do not have that ability we don't have the local authority to say yes or no to that. So we are directing people to the state. They do have kind of a questionnaire that you can kind of put yourself through to see if you do qualify to stay open or should close your doors. And a couple of things we heard earlier on a call with other cities, surrounding cities, is that some businesses are saying, well, I have a letter from the mayor, so I can stay open. There is no such letter or no such official permission that will be given by the mayor or the city in that regard. So we would just kind of like to echo the governor and the attorney general's pleading that businesses do comply with the order to stop the spread. Most of you know that the mayor and the city council did issue an emergency moratorium on evictions for both residential and commercial evictions. Those were both 30-day moratoriums, and if the stay home order stays in place, it is likely that we will extend those moratoriums as well. But the other thing, and that you will hear from the other speakers on this call that can speak to it much better than I can, is that we really need for people to get connected to the emergency aid that is being offered by the federal, state, and the county. We're not getting direct funding at the city of Auburn. And so our goal is to stay as informed as we can, to get you into the right line that you should be in to get funding, whether it's Small Business Association or economic development or, even, private granting and things like that. We want to make sure that those resources are made available, or that the ability to apply for those resources is made available to you. And we can't stress enough that you need to get yourself into that line early. It's going to be a long line, and the wait will try your patience. We are sure of that. We're hearing it that even so, the state hired 200 more employees to handle the unemployment claim benefits that are coming in. It's still a long process. So be patient, get in there, get whatever you can for yourself, because it is there, but it's going to try your patience to get there. And you all know, and I think you can all speak to it, everyone on this call, of what kind of impact this has had on your businesses and your other business colleagues around the city. The impact has been monumental, and recovery is going to take, it's going to be a heavy lift for all of us. And, what we're doing on our part is to ensure that we are getting you resourced as best you can. into programs, and you know, we're doing our part to support local businesses. And you know, Doug and Josh have been doing a great job of pushing out information from the business community of like, we are open, we can still serve you, or you know, we have services, but now they're a la carte, so call us or email us and we'll get you what you need. And we're going to keep pushing that out along with the chamber and everyone else. So with that, I'll turn it over to the real experts in this field. And again, thanks for signing on, and I hope we can be more help to you than we already are.
Thank you, Casey, with the Auburn Chamber of Commerce.
Well, thank you, Doug, and thank you, Josh and Dana from the city. That's great that you guys could do this and help our business community. We want to be a resource for our business community as well. So I'm just going to go through a couple of slides that can just showcase how we can be a resource and how you can connect with us so that we can get you best connected to your needs, or maybe even also your services at this time. So let me, I'm going to share my screen here. So bear with me. All right. So really quickly, we have created a page on our website. If you guys click on Connect, which is at the top of our website, the first page that you can click on is the COVID-19 resource here. That will provide a page with links and updates. That page has links to local news. That would be anything that we're getting from the city or anything that we need to push out from any of our other news providers. And then it also provides business information, so temporary closures, limited hours. We have another link on there for takeout and delivery, food options. It also links to the Buy Local program as well that has extensive information on this, but we wanted to make sure that we could provide any information. And this isn't just for the chamber members. This is for our overall community. So if you're not a chamber member right now, that is not, our focus is helping our businesses and our economy to continue through this time. So please make sure to reach out to us if you do have anything that you would like to be updated on these pages. Financial assistance program. I sit on calls regularly with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce to keep up to date with all of the financial assistance programs that is available, whether it be through a state or through a federal level. Those programs are on there. There's those links that Dana was even talking about to find out if you're an essential business. So please, we have tried to do our best to gather all the information in one spot so that you can go to one place, get the information that you need. And then if you do have any questions, please feel free to email connect@auburnareawa.org. We can help add to these links as we are updating these links daily. Other resources that we have online that can help during this time, you can post current business needs. So if there is a need that you have, for instance, we had somebody reach out to us that needed gloves. We contacted one of our other businesses that had tons of gloves, and they drove boxes of them over to another business. If there's a resource that you need, please let us know, and we'll try to connect you to the right person or try to find a way to help during this time. If you have something, a resource to be able to help. I've had plenty of people right now currently making masks, and they have volunteered their efforts or volunteered at the food bank. If you have a resource that you would like to get out there, please let us know that as well. Posting any current closures or business hours, that's something that we want to know about. If you think that you're going to be open and then all of a sudden you're not, it's good for us to know so that we can let businesses know that maybe now you're just doing stuff online. As our offices are closed currently right now, and we are solely doing it virtually like this. Getting connected to jobs, that's a big one. We can post any jobs that you might have out there, temporary jobs or also full-time jobs that you're looking for. But also if a business is looking to hire and maybe job share, that's another way that we can help connect people to other businesses that would maybe be able to do that for people that have been laid off at this time. Resources to the city and state information that will help for your business. We have constant contact with the city, but also with the state. So we're trying to compile all that together. So please make sure to check out our website if you're looking to seek out any of these resources. 2 other ways to stay connected during this time is following us. We're posting everything on our social media sites. And then also at the bottom of our website, you can go to newsletter and you can put in your email address, and we send out weekly updates on our businesses, on what's going on financial aid, every single Thursday on an email blast. So please feel free to sign up for that newsletter so that we can get you the resources and contacts. And I know that Doug, at the end of this, I think is going to be providing contact information for us, the presenters. Feel free to email me if you have any questions, and I am happy to help.
Thank you, Casey, very much. Now we get to the part in this presentation that I'm really excited about, and how we had built it out to marketing your company today. And the series of speakers coming up are going to share with a lot of information and detail. They're the professionals that have helped us put this onto the market for you. As a business owner, if you didn't know it, and a business license holder in the city of Auburn, that you are automatically included in this program called Buy Local Auburn. And the URL is buylocalauburn.com. And it is a built out custom system that we advertise under that retail name, and it draws its data directly real time from our internal business licensing system, where we maintain a lot of proprietary data, so it's not public information. And it needs the businesses to become interactive with it to make yourself more reachable by the consumer. I think the old movie line, "Help us, help you," is what I like to say, that we need the businesses' involvement with this to be effective. So next up is going to be Matt Lund. Matt is principal owner of Sermo. Matt helps us put this program into play on the marketplace. Our digital ad buys, advises us on different mediums to use to push the system out. So Matt, if you're ready, I'll turn it over to you, and you can show us what we're doing right now to promote that system and the businesses.
Great, thanks, Doug. Hello, everyone. Yeah, this is, we work with a lot of municipalities around Washington State, and this is one of our more favorite projects. Is something that we think is a really, really neat implementation of how, from a city standpoint, city can help businesses not only connect with consumers, but also connect with other businesses. I'm actually a city council member in a small town in central Washington, and we're always looking at ways that we can help connect our businesses, and especially get them to work with each other, because at the end of the day, if my company is buying from another company in town, those tax dollars that I'm spending to get the thing that I need as part of to make my product, those tax dollars are staying locally, which helps the entire community, whether it's keeping parks up or snow plows or any of those kind of things. So this is a really, really neat way, I think, to be able to connect businesses and connect consumers to businesses. So let me share my screen, and hopefully we'll make this work pretty easily here. There it is. Okay, so if you haven't been here, this is the Buy Local Auburn homepage. So there's a couple things about Buy Local Auburn that we rebuilt this site last year to take it from just the search functionality, which you'll see here it's right up front, where you can search for a business. So if I'm looking to buy a new set of tires, let's say, I can just type in tires, click search, and I'm going to get I get 5 results of tire dealers in Auburn with contact information, hours, all that kind of stuff. And you'll see that some of these have more information than others. That's actually what Kevin's going to show you here in a minute, is how to fill out your profile and add more information. But it's a great way for me to be able to see where I can get this product that I need locally and hopefully quickly. So aside from the search part, one of the other things we want to do with this program is also feature what I would call success stories. So it's everything from how businesses have thrived, how they've helped each other, how businesses, like I said, have found ways to do business with other businesses in Auburn, and how the Economic Development Department and other organizations, Downtown Association and others, have helped businesses thrive and really made the business community and the businesses attractive, so people want to come and shop there. So normally on the homepage we would feature some of these stories. We've reoriented it during this coronavirus time, which I will show in a minute here, but just so you can see, so we have a series of stories that have been written about businesses helping each other, about how the business organizations in town have modernized and worked together, about some of the facade grants and how the Economic Development Department has attracted some big industries into town. So things like that, really positive stories about how Auburn's economy is thriving, not only to make the citizens see that this is a thriving business community, but also folks from out of town that might be looking to relocate to Auburn, they can see all the support that's available for them. So just a quick plug, if you have one of those stories to share, please go on here and fill out this form and share your story with us. We'd love to feature that story here, not only on the website, but we also periodically will run advertising around those stories as well. So one of the things that we've done just in the last few days is we've taken this spot here where normally you would see some of our featured blog posts, and we've made it really easy for people with one click to be able to find those essential businesses that are open and operating during the governor's stay-at-home order. And so with one click, you can find restaurants, grocery and drug stores, and hotels that are operating. And again, just one button click, and you can find businesses that are open and offering some sort of takeout or curbside pickup. Obviously, you can get their address and open up to get directions. One click to call them on their phone, and then again, ones that have a more filled out profile, you can go access their website and find out more information, potentially menus and other information about their modified offerings. So other than that, I will show you, we're running, so all through the year, we run online ads driving people to this website. Sometimes they're pretty general, just encouraging people to come and learn more in search. Sometimes they feature some of the stories that I talked about. Last year, certainly during Small Business Saturday time and holiday shopping time, we ran a series of ads encouraging people to buy their holiday gifts in Auburn at local stores and obviously support their small businesses on Small Business Saturday. Right now, we're running a series of ads. I have a couple here that I'm hoping will open up. Here we go. So we're running a series of ads on both Facebook and Banner to the city, encouraging people to find out about takeout and delivery options, finding out about essential businesses that are open like pharmacies and grocery stores. So these are running right now to folks to let people in the community know that their local small businesses are still, the ones that are still operating, and to give people easy access to be able to find them. So that's pretty much it from my part. I think Kevin's going to spend a little more time talking to you about how you can utilize the back end of the site better and advertise your business. So I'll turn it back over to Doug here.
Great. Thank you, Matt. And with that, Kevin with Priest. Kevin is owner, principal of this firm here in Auburn, and has the lovely task of keeping the wireframe, the backbone of this thing operating, pulling the data from our city system and putting it out into the public site. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kevin O'Brien.
Thanks, Doug. So I think what you might be asking after that is, how do I make sure I'm in this list? And so that's what I want to show today is how do you get into this list? And the nice thing, and Doug hinted at it there, is that if you have a business license in the city of Auburn, you're automatically in this list. And I should clarify, unless of course you've opted out of it, which is an option for anyone running home businesses and things like that who don't want their addresses there. But automatically, as soon as you apply for or renew your business license, you get added to the buy local list. And Matt said it, there are people who have just a bit of information in the buy local list, and there are people who have a nice full built out profile on that buy local site. And so I'm going to show you how all of that's configured, where you put your information in, and what all that looks like. And so I'll share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so everyone should be seeing the login for the buy local site. And I'm going to hop back into chat for just 1 second. I'm going to send out the link for this. There you go. There's the link for the back end of the buy local site. And it's the same place you would go to renew your business license. Okay. And so the first thing I'll show is I'm going to show you what it looks like to log in and update this information. But for anyone who's never seen this page or isn't sure how to get logged in here, if you have your credentials, simple username and password, there is an opportunity to reset your password if you need to do that. A lot of people, Prace included, you come here once a year to renew your business license and you forget your password between last time you renewed it and now. And so I've of course used this before. You'll just get an email with a one-time use link to go ahead and reset your password. And here's what that would look like. If you've never been here before, so you can also renew your business license in office at the city of Auburn, at least in the past you've been able to. And so some people still aren't in or don't have an account for the online system. Now, your business is still listed in the buy local listing, but you may not have a login for this page. And so there is also an option to create an account here. And the only information you'll need is your business license number. And so you can get that off your City of Auburn business license, and you just create an account with your information, enter that business license number here, and you can create an account. So with that, I'll go ahead and log in and show you what this looks like. So I'm going to switch what I'm sharing here. Okay. So now you should be seeing the logged in version of the same page. And so there's a lot of things you can do here, but I'm going to show you the update by local information. I will quickly mention you can print your business license here. You can renew your business license here, and the reason you don't see that link today is because Prace has already renewed ours, so we already have all of our renewals done. You can print your invoice for business license renewal, and you can do all of that right here in this one spot. And I know, and Doug will probably mention it as soon as I'm done talking, there's going to be other things you can do on this page over time. This is something the city is constantly building out as a self-service portal for managing your business. So I'll jump to the part that I think is really relevant today, and that's the buy local directory. And so in here, you can do all the things that are the extra information you saw on that buy local Auburn site that Matt was showing us a minute ago. All of that comes from this information here. And so from the homepage, I just clicked on update buy local information, and that took me in here. You can see I have an option to leave myself out of the directory. I can also just hide my address if I run an at-home business and don't want my home address listed on there. And then I can fill in all the information about my business. And so a sales contact, basic hours information, a website. And then the big key pieces here are this business narrative and the search keywords. And so when we get to this section, when someone searches buy local Auburn, these are the key fields that are getting searched. And so especially those categories that are really relevant right now under search keywords, and I'll clear this out and show you how you do it. So that restaurant takeout, that's a special keyword along with grocery curbside or delivery and the lodging hotel keywords. And those keywords, and I'll pull up buy local Auburn. And those keywords are what drive these essential business links here on the homepage. So Prace Consulting is not a restaurant takeout place, but for showing you exactly how this works, I'll submit this. So now one of Prace's keywords is restaurant takeout. And I'll hop over here and I'll click on restaurants. And you can see Prace Consulting is already there. This is a real-time system. As soon as you make the change to your keywords, you are immediately listed. And so what you want to do, and I'll switch this back so no one gets confused about what Prace does.
Kevin, I'll have a burger and fries and a milkshake.
Yeah, Doug, just stop by my house.
Right.
So I'll update this again.
One thing you might want to show, and you've gone past it 2-3 times,
Sure.
is on the buy local page in the upper right corner, you'll see a red rectangle there. It says renew my license. That's a hot link that'll take you right to that login page.
Yeah, so this link right in the upper right-hand corner, if I click that, it's going to take me straight to that page. If I wasn't already logged in, it would have taken me to the login page.
Right. So that's a simple way that the business can go to that page and get logged in, go into it.
Yep. Okay, so that's the primary way we'd love for you to go and get your information updated, is log in here, update all of your business's information, and take care of anything else you need to. There is, though, so if you need to quickly update your keywords, you don't have an account yet, you aren't sure of your business license, well, you'll still need your business license number, but you don't have an account yet, you want to just quickly update your company's keywords, you can go, and I'll look at Prace Consulting. You'll notice there's a link below everyone on Buy Local Auburn, and you can click on, is this your business? Click here to update your search keywords. And when I click that link, it takes me to a special location. I'll still need to know my business license number. And so this is not just anyone can change anyone's keywords, but this page allows you to just set that primary phone number, primary email, and just your simple search keywords by authenticating with your business license number. And so it's a quick way where you can go set that restaurant takeout keyword. And we review all of these as they come in to make sure there's nothing broken or anything about any of these submissions. But it's a quick way you can come in and set those keywords and get your information updated and buy local. And so either of those ways of getting to this page and updating your keywords, we want to make sure that you go and have that opportunity to do that. And so especially if you're in one of those categories, restaurant takeout, grocery delivery, or pickup, or in that hotel lodging category, so we can get you onto the essentials page on that dashboard. And I know, and I'll let Doug probably speak to this after I'm done, his team went through and set as many of these properly as we could before we launched this section of the site. And so they know, for the most part, which businesses are open and offer these services in Auburn, and they've tried to do all they can to kind of make these curated lists that have good information in them. So go ahead, Doug.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the one other thing I wanted to mention is, along with Buy Local Auburn, Google has made some changes on Google Places pages to help businesses tell other people who's open and for what services during this. And so what I'll show you, I'll log in and I'll show you what our Google Places page dashboard looks like. So let me share that quickly. Okay. Okay, so you should be seeing the Prace Consulting Google My Business. And where you go to get this, I'll send you the link in chat. But this is Google's place to manage your business listing. And your business listing is the thing that comes up in the upper right-hand corner when you search on Google for a business or for a list of businesses. And this business listing for Google, they've offered, and they have a whole page dedicated to showing you what things have changed. And so that page can explain what you can update and be specific about for dealing with COVID-19. And so a couple examples, you can now list as a restaurant. If your business category is restaurant, you can now list whether you're specifically open for takeout and whether the hours represent your takeout hours. And so that's something restaurants will want to do. So when people look on your Google Places page, they see, oh, okay, this is not just someone who hasn't updated their hours, they've specifically said they're open for takeout. And so it's another place people can look and know that you're still open. There's also specific hours you can fill out for specific to the COVID-19 crisis, and then other business information. And so I'd encourage you, go to business.google.com, pull up your business listing and check for those special fields and adjustments to service areas, things like that, and make sure they're all up to date while we're all going through this. And if you don't already own your business page, so you have to claim your Google My Business page, and I won't go through all the details today, but the one thing I'll show you, so I'll switch my share one more time. The one thing I'll show you is if this is what your Google Places page looks like to others when they search for you. And if you haven't claimed it yet, there'll be a little link right here under your business name and links that says, is this your business? And so Google probably already has some information about your business, but that link is used to claim your business. And they'll verify you're the owner using a phone number, an address card, and make sure you actually own that business. But that's how you claim it and get to that dashboard I showed you just a minute ago. So those are the places you go. And if you have questions about those, I know we'll do some Q&A at the end if you have questions about how to get access to those. But buy local Auburn and updating your Google Places page, keep people aware about what's going on with your business.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. And one thing I want to just point out. So for example, when Kevin pulled up the word tires, and it only showed, I think, 6 or 7 locations in town. Excuse me. The reason why is because it's it's very simple Google word association type search. So the word tire either has to show up in the company's name or in the description that they wrote. And so there's way more than 5 locations in town that sell tires, but if they only have their name, address, phone number, the word tire would have to be in the business name, and they don't, so they're not found. So they're not helping themselves. That's the importance of the keywords and the expanded description for the businesses. So we're going to have Jason Morgan with iLocal, and he's going to talk about websites, the importance of having them up to date, and the optimization of those websites and online services. So Jason, with that, thank you for being here.
Alrighty, hello, my name is Jason Morgan. I'm with iLocal Incorporated. We're located here in Auburn, Washington. So what I'll do is I'll go in and we'll talk about web design and search engine optimization. And what I'll do is I'll bring up my screen here and share it with all you guys and just get started.
And Jason, I think we have Justin, one of your team members on also, right?
Well, they're just monitoring with us.
Okay.
So they're with us, and Regis is with me, and I also have Marisol too. They're just all kind of taking a look as well. So just
got it.
Okay. So I'll just share with everybody here, and is everybody able to see my screen? So
you're looking good.
Okay. So let's go like this. Okay, how's that? Okay, alrighty. So a little bit about iLocal. We started in 2009, and currently we have 350 total customers that are primarily in Washington State, we have 10 employees that work out of our Auburn office, and then we have the rest of our folks are throughout the United States and really throughout the world that are with us. And we currently provide SEO for 140 clients, primarily are in Washington State, but we also have clients in Oregon and California and Texas and throughout the rest of the United States. I'll just give you guys a little bit of a background as we kind of go through the kind of internet marketing part of it, just to kind of give everybody a little bit of a background. This is a basic Google search. And 14% of the clicks that come through are on what's called Google Guaranteed, and these are the top paid searches that are at the top of them, where Google guarantees that you're going to get a call and a click from your paid search. These are paid ads at the very top, and then below that is what are called pay-per-click ads, and there's 12% of your traffic on search engines come from Google. And then down below here are the Google Maps, where if in the city of Auburn, you have a business, earlier where they were talking about, you know, where he was showing your Google map listing. If you're in the city of Auburn, you definitely want to have your business listed where you go to google.com/places. If you have any question, if you have a new business, a lot of people make the mistake where we had a business recently a couple years ago that they're in business for 10 years and they never registered their business on Google Places. And I've never seen anybody that went 10 years without, you know, listing their business on Google Maps. So that's a free service that's provided by Google. So that's the first thing you really should do, is to get your business listed on Google Places. And so that's this section here. It's 30% of all clicks take place within that area. And then down below is the organic search, which is 44% of all traffic takes place within that area of organic traffic. And that's something we specialize in. And we provide services for all of these areas as well. So basically, obviously, we're an SEO company. We obviously do build websites as well. But the main thing we want to get into is really about content, and also for the buy local as well. When you are setting up your profiles, you know, it's a little bit of a different deal, but it's all about content. The content creates call volume for you, and to get your profile to show up on buy local as well, it involves content. But for us and what we do, there's basically 5 gears that are involved to get your website to show up on Google. And that's basically the recipe that I'm going to get into and to show you. And one of the customers that we're going to show you is one of our customers, which is Beacon Plumbing. So this is what we're going to get into and show you guys all today. So the first gear is a page title. And when you do a basic Google search, the first gear that you don't realize this, but the very first gear is this blue little line that shows up here is what's called the page title. It's the first gear of SEO. And so when you do a Google search, if you guys all were to do a Google search maybe on your phone right now, and if you were to Google sewer repair Auburn, that first gear that would come up would be this right here, which was sewer repair Auburn, is called a page title. And so it's very important that your website has what is called a page title on it. And you'd be amazed at the amount of sites that we get that don't have that basic gear on their website. So the second gear is called an alias URL. And as you'll start to see as we build out these 5 gears, that they're all what I like to call they're symmetrical with each other. So as we start to build out these 5 gears, they're all related with each other. So you know, we don't just go in and build a page that is like it's so competitive in nature with each other now that we don't build a sewer repair page with a plumbing page. We're building this page to be all about sewer. So the second gear is, as you can see right here, is the URL, is the alias URL is about sewer repair. And so as we build that out, the domain name is the second gear. And so we want that to also be about sewer repair. And so the alias URL is the second gear. And we want that to be, you know, named in similar to the page title. And so we name that symmetrically similar to the page title. So then the third gear is the meta description. So with the meta description, you're starting right here, you'll see the 3 gears together. The first gear, the second gear, and the third gear show up on a Google search. So you have the page title, you have the alias URL, which actually Google's hiding in this display here, and then you have the meta description. Unfortunately, there it goes. So what happens is your meta description is you basically take the page title, which is sewer repair Auburn, and then you have the meta description. And when you look at this and you look at the meta description here, we basically take the page title and put it in the meta description and rewrite it from left to right in sentence form. And so everything is recycled within itself. And so it's very essential to include, it's the skeletal system of this as you lay it out is formatted within itself, so that if you as you put it all together, it basically I'm sorry here, I'm not seeing you guys on the screen here.
We see you okay, Jason.
Okay. So what happens is when we put the page title here on the for the meta description, what happens is it let's see here. Let me go on to the next.
See, we're on your number 3.
Okay.
On your 4 headlines.
So as we go here, so with the page titles, as I have the meta descriptions here, I think it'd be better if I can see you guys here. I'm trying to see where I can. Oh, there you are. Okay. So basically, when I go into the meta descriptions, there's 5 gears to the setup of it, and so for the third gear, with the meta description, what it does is the page title here, it when you put the page title on the with the keywords there, what it does is it gears the web page so that when you do a Google search, let me bring up a Google search here. Let me get out of this little. I'm sorry, I got full screen mode on here. You still see my screen?
Yep.
Oh.
Back to the PowerPoint.
Okay, so there's a PowerPoint there. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little freestyle here. So basically, let me go a little freestyle here. So when you do a Google search, so for like sewer repair Auburn, like this, and you got like Beacon Plumbing right here. If we bring up 2 windows here, and we click on Beacon Plumbing right here, and you see the page title right there. So what happens is we want you have the gear right here, which is sewer repair Auburn. So, and you have the page title right there. So you see the page title, sewer repair Auburn.
Yes.
At the very top of the page. So
Yes.
what happens is you want the page title right there to match your the top of your browser, because with your meta description, which is right here in the browser right here, so you want everything to be symmetrical with each other, because when it's not symmetrical with itself, the DNA of your page is lopsided. And so I know, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time transposing this. I'm like really strong at this particular model. And then what happens is your page doesn't index well. And so basically when your content isn't all lined up, it's not coordinated with each other. And so all of your content needs to be coordinated together. So if the content's not coordinated together, then the page doesn't line up. So your page title needs to be coordinated with the word sewer repair. Your content needs to be coordinated with it. Your meta description needs to be coordinated with it. So what happens is when you look at your page title, if your page title doesn't have the word sewer repair in it, if your meta description doesn't have the word sewer repair in it, if the body of your content doesn't have the word sewer repair in it, you know, and then if your headlines don't have the word sewer repair in it, then what happens is that, you know, your site doesn't index well on the internet. And so then it makes the big difference on where you end up lining up on the page. So in this particular case, we have sewer repair Auburn, sewer line cleaning Auburn, sewers Auburn. Okay. And so then these are the three different headlines that we have. And then when we look back on the page, are different, and within my meta description, I also recycle the meta descriptions. Within the meta description, I also have right here, sewer cleaning. This is awful. Sorry. I have the sewer cleaning right here. I have sewer repair, sewer line cleaning.
So Jason, I got a question for you. You've hit
Sure.
on this thing, and you make a statement here about repeating the city 3 times. I've heard you say a number of times it's important with the repeat. Is 3 a magical number with Google as far as?
No, we have 3 headlines. We have 3 page titles. So within the city, if you look here and I see the browser, I'm just kind of dinking around. I usually do this kind of in person, but so like as I leave the screen there, like when I touch the screen, it brings up that little thing. If you look down in that Google part of the search where it says sewer repair Auburn, sewer line cleaning, and then you look where that red arrow is there, and then it says sewer line cleaning in black.
Right.
And then before that, it says sewer repair. So one thing that's really important is in that meta description is in the page title. You take the page title and you rewrite it in sentence form from left to right. It's really important in my recipe is what I call my skeletal system, where up above earlier where I write in my skeletal system is that as I take the same pattern of my page title and in my headlines and in my content, which will come later, is I just take the same system and I just rewrite it over and over. It's a symmetrical system, you know, and where I'll show you later as we kind of go through the slides, is it, you know, whether it's sewer repair, whether it's plumbing, no matter what it is I don't mix the DNA of my recipe up with anything else, you know, and I can go through this and I'll go through various different things that we have and I rank lots of stuff first page Google. And then the reason is I don't mix plumbing with water heaters. I don't mix water heaters with sewer. I don't mix rockeries with landscaping. It's all by itself, you know. And so as we go through, you know, with my headlines here, the headlines, when we write about sewer repair in this section, we're only writing about sewer repair. When we're writing about sewer line cleaning, we're just pretty much writing about sewer line cleaning, and we support that section. You know, these headlines right here: sewer repair Auburn, sewer line cleaning Auburn, sewers Auburn. All they are is we're recycling the page titles. So if we go back, you'll see that all these are our 3 headlines before, right? They're the 3 headlines that we used up above. There are 3 page titles, and then basically all we do is recycle them within the meta descriptions, so on and so forth. And so then as we go through here, it's just the content just keeps getting rewritten. And then basically when you get all the gears working together, and this is the best part of everything right here, is what happens on Google is that if you don't get all of this stuff working together, it's just like a bike, you know. And if you don't get the page title working together with the alias URL working together, with the meta description working together, with the headline working together, and with the content, that's how you get up to show up on the first page of Google. If all of this isn't working good together and you take one piece of it off, you know, it's just like if you ride a bike. If your handlebar isn't, you can't ride a bike without a handlebar, you know. And my favorite part is this, is if you take a page title off, your whole site will not rank. And we have many customers that if I just took the page title off of all of Beacon stuff, he has 2,700 pages. If I took the page title off of it, he wouldn't show up anywhere on Google. And so this is the part right here. You know, you don't want to have duplicate content on your website. The age of your business domain is the most important thing of your website. The number of pages on your website gives you the authority of your website. The size of your site gives you a huge amount of authority. Another product we have is the researchgiant.com. And then right here, you know, if you have a phone, maybe take a picture of all of these right here and just show you this is another product that we have. And I'll just do a quick search just to kind of show you. This is my Research Giant product, Beacon Plumbing right here. And real quick, I'll just do a quick search just to show you guys just real quick in Auburn for sewer repair Auburn. Did a little bit of misspelling there. Just to kind of show you kind of how our product works. There's Beacon that shows up right there. And then there's the Research Giant there. So this is our other product that we have, which is, and this will kind of conclude our presentation. I'm here on Wi-Fi. And basically, here's the key of, you know, how it lays out with the page title there. Here's the content. It's really important to, you know, bold your bullets. There's the headline there. And there's another headline there. And so when you guys build your buy local profile, it's really important that you put 425 words of content in it. Anything you do on your website, it's just lots of content. Lots of images too. Your images, you want to optimize your images because your images can show up on Google search. I mean, I could go on forever. Kind of fumbled through a little bit of the profile, but you know, we're happy to answer any of your guys' questions.
Jason, that's great. You know, I think it's important because obviously the online presence right now is extremely critical. Obviously, what we tell a lot of the folks and businesses when we work with is take that opening paragraph that's been well written with the proper keywords that you want to use, have it in that first paragraph and cut and paste that into our description for the buy local. Because ours is, you know, it's a little bit easy. It's a little bit of a closed system that we run. So it's all keyed off of keywords search. So it's not quite the same as internet searches on Google. But, and again, I'll say we're going to have all the contact information for everybody from this presentation so that if any of the businesses listening have additional needs and for goods and services from any of these folks, you'll know how to get a hold of them. So thank you, Jason. Tim's going to talk to us about, you know, what can you do over the next 120 days to position yourself to relaunch your company. And so with that, I'm going to introduce Tim and turn it over to him.
Thanks, Doug. I appreciate you creating the time, and thank you to all the participants for making it here today. I know this is a pretty tough situation to be in for everybody, and I'm sorry you're in this position. But my hope is to share some information with you. When Doug first called me up to do this, he asked if I could help you with a business plan, and I said, Doug, I don't think a business plan is the right play right now, because that's kind of a forward-looking thing with what you want to do in terms of kind of ideation. Right now, it's about survival, and what we need to be able to do is survive this next few months. The beautiful thing about this, and we need to keep this in consistent perspective, is that this is not permanent, okay? We're going to get through this, and we're going to come out of it. And what we want to try to do is position ourselves so that when we do come out of it, that we can recover as fast as possible and get back to thriving. And so my hope today is to help you not only as businesses, but as business leaders as well, get through this next few months and prime yourself to be able to take advantage of a marketplace when it turns. So with that being said, I want to share with you something that recently just came across my email from one of my former graduate school professors. I'm also an organizational psychologist. So not only thinking about business from a strategy and execution place, but also from a place of leadership. And Dr. Paul Yost, who's going to be coming out with a book on learning agility, shared that the research shows that there's some keystone things that we can do for resilience that can help us through this time. And so these are some practices that just I would encourage you to build into your daily routine as you're trying to make it through your business and through the general situation that we're in right now. One is take the stuff that's in our head right now and get it down on paper, in terms of the challenges that you're facing as well as the opportunities that could exist. And so that's going to take some time, but the thoughts that are running through your head, get those down so that they're not just tied up inside our heads, and put them down on paper. Whether you do something with that or not, that's another story, but at least it's getting it out. Number two is building a fence. And what that means is setting some boundaries and whatnot. And what I would call this is like pick one thing, maybe three. If you're an overachiever, like some of my students, put in some extra credit, but pick 1 to 3 things to thrive for every day and what you're going to try to get done to move the ball forward for yourself and for those around you. The other is to move a little bit. I know when we're in staying at home and keeping safe, that it can be easy to kind of get stuck behind the computer or get into habits that aren't getting us moving, but we were made to move. And so if you can get outside and walk for 20 to 30 minutes or some sort of exercise and whatnot. The other is a social support. Obviously being in isolation, that's tough. And luckily we've got technology to help us, but that social support is key. And I think in terms of a business network and building relationships, you know, you've got folks here through the city and the Chamber of Commerce and other networking opportunities to be sharing the support with as leaders and as businesses who are all kind of going through similar circumstances and lean on one another. And lastly is to make sure that you carve out some time every day for mindfulness and to write down some things that you're grateful for. You know, we're in a situation where, yeah, we might be fighting a war against a virus, but all we have to do is stay home, you know, and we've got the luxury of a lot of things and we can be very grateful for those. So some of the apps that I like for meditation are, there's an app called Calm. There's another app called Headspace, and those can all walk you through some of those processes to help you out. So that's just something to be thinking about as a leader. The other thing I would challenge you to do is think like the Stoics, and the Stoics, I'm talking about the individuals like Marcus Aurelius, and Ryan Holiday has a really great book out there. And throughout this presentation, you'll see a number of resources that I'm including to help you if you want to check them out. And his book is called The Obstacle is the Way. And what Ryan Holiday focuses on here is taking Stoic philosophies, which means essentially that we can't control what happens to us. Like we can control that our business environment changed so dramatically in such a short period of time, but we do have control on how we choose to react and respond to that. And so The Obstacle is the Way is a great resource to kind of hearing some stories throughout business and other historical figures on how they were faced with really tough obstacles, but rather than letting those consume them, they found ways to work through them, work around them. And so even professional teams such as the Seattle Seahawks use Ryan as a consultant and whatnot. So I think this is a fantastic resource, especially in the time that we're in. Now, when we're thinking about our businesses, there's a saying that I say to my students in our introduction to business class in the first day or two, and it's revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. And I think as small businesses, medium-sized businesses, or solopreneurs, we understand that, you know, what's in the bank account is such an important element to us. But as we look at when we do our accounting, we always calculate it by revenue minus expenses, and whatever's left is our profit. For the next 3 months, for that 120-day period, what I want you to focus on is whatever cash you've got remaining in liquidity, plus any revenue that you can bring in during this time. We need that to be greater than our operating expenses. And that's how the survival is going to work. And we're pretty fortunate because we've got an amazing person that's on this call right now named Taryn, and the team at the Small Business Development Center at Green River. They are wonders at knowing and understanding some of the number sides of business and understanding the resources and whatnot. And so I'm really pleased that Doug and the SBDC at Green River can be on this call to help you with kind of understanding what are some of those things that we can do to take care of this first, which is trying to find capital and ways to stay liquid during this time if you weren't in a position to be there right now. Today, I want to focus in on 3 big areas that you can do, because a lot of this is what we can't do right now. We can't operate. We can't do this. We can't do that. Instead, I want us to focus on what we can do. And right now, what we can do is we can focus on people, we can focus on process, and we can focus on our positioning so that we're ready to come out of this and start to thrive. So on the people side, 2 thought leaders that I really like in the space. One is Simon Sinek, and his book, Start With Why or Leaders Eat Last and The Infinite Game. Those are all great resources. And what we really understand from Sinek is that people buy our why, and then how we do it and what we do are just byproducts of our why. So, use this time as an opportunity to re-examine your business and take a look at what's your larger purpose. Who are you serving and why are you doing it? The other really interesting part of this is I think that we all need to lean into being a little bit more vulnerable right now. And Brene Brown is one of the best thought leaders in this space. And her book, Dare to Lead, is a really good resource for those of you who want to engage with your employees and your customers and help them through this time as well. So those are two people that I would love for you to check out. The people matter the most when it comes to business. And here are the people I want you to be thinking about as we get through these next 120 days is I want you to be thinking of yourself and some self-care as a person and as a leader and as an owner of the business. Your employees are mission critical to your success, both as teammates as well as just the folks that are going to help you get back on and going. What the research shows us is that organizations who have the ability to retain talent during a down period come out and are stronger in a more long-term effect. So if you think back to the recession, like this, one of the things that the state did that was really interesting was the shared work program where they could keep people in terms of having them on benefits, but reduce their hours and then be supplemented through unemployment insurance. And I know that program is still into effect and we've got some other relief packages in there, but if we can retain our team as best we can during this time, that can be really impactful to being more successful coming out of this situation. Our customers, if we think about them as people and more so as they are depending on us to add and create value for them. We might not be able to do it in the same way that we have been doing it in the past, but we can still think about how do we want to in the future and in the present still add value and create value for them. And then we don't do this alone. Oftentimes there's the suppliers and the community around us. And those people are there to not only that depend on us, but they're here to support us. And no business owner in this situation should be scared or think twice about reaching out for support from anybody in the community, because the way that this community will get back is by relaunching together. In terms of what you can do to help yourself and your people is, one, use this time to focus in on some strategic planning initiatives. Take this as an opportunity, like I mentioned, to step back and look at your larger purpose and how you're aligned with those and what potential changes or opportunities might exist as you come out of this. With your team, with your employees, is you could focus in on coaching and team building. While you don't necessarily need to be together physically to do that, you can get on Zoom calls. You can have those opportunities to focus on things that to bring people together. You can have them read a book. One of the ones that we use in our classes is called 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. And we found that to be remarkable in helping students form really successful teams. And with that, you can focus on upskilling. There's a lot of freebies out there or very low cost investments to no cost investments. It could be curating podcasts from shows like Entree Leadership or the Learning Leader Show, or a variety of different ones that are out there on the Apple top 200, where you could send out on Spotify, you could send out a playlist every week and have everybody listening to some of the same podcast, or sending them TED Talks, or going, if you want to put some money into it, go onto Udemy and find out key skills that you think would help your business. And a lot of those are at a very low cost right now. LinkedIn Learning has wonderful learning opportunities too. So upskilling your people and having them do that if they can't execute on the job that they were given, this is another way that you can help them grow and develop and be better when they can come back to you. And then engaging with your customers in the community and your suppliers, doing some sort of market research and customer feedback through channels or phone calls. It's a way to connect with them and for them to know that you're still around and that you care about what they think and you're thinking about how you can get better through this. That's going to leave a lasting impression with them. In terms of the process, this is, there's an old saying in the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, which says that oftentimes entrepreneurs, we end up getting stuck working in our business and not working on our business. And so now, you've been kind of put into a position where you may be struggling to generate revenue. You might be at a standstill. And so leveraging this time to work on your business is a great opportunity. So A couple of other resources that can give you some frameworks that could be helpful to building some strategy and some culture around is obviously the E-Myth Revisited, Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, and the Lean Startup by Eric Ries. So a process that you can use to evaluate your processes is one, first, create a customer journey map. Take a step back, just as Jason was talking about in terms of how your customers are discovering you, or what is, talk to some of your customers on what it's like to do business with you, and really map out that journey. That's going to give you a different perspective on things, and that might change how you operate your business. And so you can amend some of your processes that way. Another one is analyze your marketing processes. Look at where you're spending your marketing dollars and how well you're getting a return on that investment. And what processes are you using to get out there in marketing, and what do your customers really need and want to hear to better understand the value that you provide. Then it's about evaluating your operational processes and looking for enhancements and efficiencies. If we're going to get focused on operations and the expenses that come along with those, then we might be able to save some money, which actually in some ways can keep us going even if this lasts longer or a second wave comes, which some of the experts are predicting. It's about putting yourself back into a position where you're running your business as efficiently and as effectively as possible and makes sense for your employees, your customers, your community, and your suppliers. And then lastly is align. So once you've created that customer journey, you've looked at that, you've analyzed your marketing, you've evaluated your operations. Now it's time to look at the dollars and seeing where they're flowing and where they're being allocated so that you can get what we call the Prego Principle, the 80-20 results. So what's the 20% things that you can invest in that will give you the biggest 80% impact? That's where we should be allocating whatever resources we have at this time is to get biggest impact. The good thing about this is if you use this really tough time to work on this, in the good times, then you're going to have habits and discipline that are going to make you even more effective. So lastly, it's positioning ourselves when we come out of this. And a couple of great thought leaders and books in here is This is Marketing by Seth Godin, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, and Great by Choice by Jim Collins. And if you don't have the time or can invest in the reading of this, these folks can be found on podcasts, and they give you some of the best stuff. Apps like Blinkist and Audible. There's other ways to consume this content that can still get you to where you want to go and give you great frameworks to work from. And what I mean by positioning is I want you to be thinking about what we call the funnel, right? And if you think about the funnel, you think about the top part of the funnel is trying to get as many potential customers that align for your products and services and attract them, drive the traffic so they become aware of you. That's all marketing. The bottom half of the funnel is where we make the sale. That's all the sales process. And so we need to be thinking about, as Jason was talking about a little bit earlier, is what is that content and how well is that getting to your customers? And then from the marketing standpoint is, how well is it resonating with them? We know right now that people are spending a lot more time on social media and the internet because that's how they're, that's what they've got time to do and whatnot. So are you on social right now? Are you posting? Are you using your subject matter experts to add value to other people? So this is an example. You see folks that are in the fitness industry who are out there posting workouts and giving their customers value that way. If one of our companies that we work with in the program at Green River is in the plumbing industry, and is giving tips and whatnot to help people during that pace. Like don't those things that are say flushable wipes, don't flush those. I guess they're not good. So they're finding ways to add value that are free. They're not costing them anything, but they're staying top of mind in those customers' mind because they're engaging with those audience and forming that relationship. The idea is that when we come out of this, even if you may or may not be able to service your customers right now, one, you might find that you have new channels to engage with them on. Maybe it's e-commerce, maybe it's different ways through delivery and other services that you can incorporate, but it might be just holding them in a pattern so that you stay top of mind with them and that you have a relationship with them, and that when the funnel starts to open up and we can interact with them and convert them, that you can generate revenue in a really big way coming through. So filling that funnel as much as possible. You're going to get folks that fall out of it, but the more you can stay engaged with them. So again, thinking about stuff like starting a blog, developing your social channels, podcast, video, all of those different things. And I'll be honest, folks, like I'm having to do this too with some of my classes, and it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary to put yourself on the video or on the podcast and be worried about some of that stuff. But you know, if we're out of our comfort zones, that's okay too, because we're going to get learning and growth, just like I promote to the students over at Green River College. And I would say that too, if you need additional help and support, is our programs are designed to be around applied and experiential learning. And so perhaps some of our students can help you. I know they're anxious, they're worried. We've got a number of them that are going to be graduating here at the end of the new quarter, and they're going to be hungry for opportunities too. And I'm going to be telling them the exact same thing: is find ways to add value and build their personal brands. And so, you know, if we can help you, support you through the chamber or through other channels, we're here to do that. And then, you know, by no means am I the official talking point of the college, but I know Dr. Johnson is very dedicated to our community, that the college is still here to serve and provide some level of normalcy in whatever we can. And so lastly, I'd just wrap up by saying, you know, we want you to continue to stay strong. We want you to continue to stay safe, and we want you to continue to stay healthy. And if there's anything Green River can to support you, please, you know, reach out to us and let us know. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Doctor. I'd like to bring on Taryn Hornby with the SBDC, Small Business Development Center through Green River College. And she is going to bring us into maybe real-time update on some of the current programs through the SBA and a number of different federal agencies that she interacts with. And with that, I'll turn it over to Taryn and her staff.
Auburn, for inviting me to be on this panel. I'm going to ask that Josh load my PowerPoint right now. Josh is helping me because my Zoom has been crashing quite a few times. So my name is Taryn Hornby. I'm with the SBDC. We were formed by the SBA. We are not the SBA. We're just an arm of the SBA. What I would like to talk about and try to decipher all these loans coming through the pipeline for you. If you could change to the next one, please, Josh. There's quite a few acronyms out there, so I'm going to try to break this down for you. The EIDL, the EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, has been around. They're already on their third rollout. The EIDL Advance, the CARES Act, and the PPP. This is all the stimulus. The CARES Act is another name for the stimulus. The EIDL Advance and the PPP were created through the stimulus or CARES Act. EIDL Advance is now in operation and available. The PPP will start to be available hopefully this Friday. The next slide, please. I want to agree with Tim Bruxholm. Cash is king right now. I would encourage all small business owners to decide if their business model sees this virus as long-term or short-term. My advice is, if you look at it long-term and it turns out to be short-term, you win. If you look at it short-term and it turns out to be long-term, you lose. Be very efficient with your cash. Be very open with what you accept right now to buy time. The EIDL loan, like I said, is on its third rollout right now. This is not a forgivable loan. For the for-profit businesses, the interest rate is 3.75%. They will amortize it over 15 or 30 years. You can pay fixed debt, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills. They're calling this the working capital loan. Must have debt repayment. You can have your debt repayments deferred up to 1 year. Limit on items that can be paid using this money, but it's a little bit more expansive than the other loans that I'll be talking about in a minute. Once again, there is no debt forgiveness at this time on this loan, nor do they anticipate any. It'll take you approximately 2 to 3 weeks until you receive an answer. And because of their third rollout, it's relatively easy to apply. It'll only take 20 to 30 minutes to apply. Previously, when they first rolled it out, oh my goodness, the system crashed, the items, the information wasn't saved. It would take people 4 hours on the phone just to ask questions. They had to continually reapply. To those businesses that have already applied for the EIDL, if you applied prior to Monday, you will have to reapply to take advantage of the EIDL advance. That just is how the system is right now. Sorry for those of you that were very, very efficient in applying right away. The next slide here, the EIDL advance. This was created through the CARES Act or the stimulus package. What this is trying to do is give you $10,000 in your pocket in a very short amount of time. As you see in the last sentence, funds will be made available within 3 days of a successful application. This loan advance will not have to be repaid. And please note, if you're turned down for this loan, you still get to keep the $10,000 advance payment. This is just to get money in your pocket quickly. As we know, today's April 1st. If the rent is due, everybody's getting a little nervous about that payment. So this is what this was set up to do. Just get money out there, get business owners back on track for a little bit. So once again, even if you apply for this, the EIDL, and you're turned down for the regular EIDL, you still get to keep the $10,000. You do apply through the SBA. The EIDL, when you apply for the EIDL, the advance is part of that application. So there is not two separate applications. There's one application for the EIDL, and the advance is right on that application. Next slide, please. The CARES Act, also called the Stimulus Act, the PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, or some of the old name PPL, once again, part of the stimulus bill. You will apply directly with an SBA affiliated lender. The majority of the banks out there are SBA affiliated lenders. It's not rare. There's over 1,800 of them. You can call them directly. This will be administered under the 7A SBA program. So if you see that term, it's just how they delineate it, or they distinguished what program this was going to go through. When this first came out, they were going to create a whole nother agency to get this money out. And I thought to myself, this will not be efficient, but going through the banks is a very efficient process. I see that a lot of banks are allowing you to apply online. There is loan forgiveness. This can be 100% forgiven if it's used for payroll, utilities, rent, and existing business debt. How they're going to calculate this is 2.5 times an average payroll, and it can either be for the full year last year, or if you're seasonal, from February to June of last year. Once again, you can take that up with the lender, which term you choose to use. Please note that this will go up to 2.5 times your average monthly payroll. So they're basically paying you for 2.5 months worth of expenses. The EIDL loan, which is not forgivable, right now they're calculating about 6 months worth of expenses, and you get to reapply up until December 31st. If you have 6 months and you still need more, you get to reapply. Once again, the EIDL is not forgivable. This PPP is forgivable if it's spent 75% on payroll. So basically, you will reconnect with your employees if they're on standby, or if you laid them off, they will be back on your payroll. This program is good till June 30th. If you're a long-term thinker, and this is what I've asked them, the SBA, can you defer this as much as possible? Because then your employees can stay on unemployment, you can bring them back, closer to hopefully the end of the shutdowns. So you'll be ready to go when everything opens up. But once again, this only goes through June 30th, whereas the idle goes through December 31st. So can you apply for both? Yes, you can apply for both. You just can't use both for the exact same expenses. So possibly with the idle, you purchase materials, and possibly with the PPP, you utilize it to pay employees' wages. You cannot collect on both to pay the exact same employees' wages. If you could turn to the next slide, please, Josh. Once again, they are creating the SOPs, or the standard operating procedures. This is extremely fluid. The banks aren't even sure exactly how this program is going to operate, and they're being asked to open up shop on this Friday, which is April 3rd. Self-employed and independent contractors will be able to apply supposedly April 10th. That's the last date they're able to apply. So it might be open earlier than that. There is no collateral or personal guarantee required. It's a 2-year maturity with 0.5% interest. They will defer the payments for 6 months. Oh, I see, I wrote that twice. But it's very important, no collateral or personal guarantee required. This is just to get money in the hands of the small business owners, which will be forgiven if it's used to pay the certain expenses, 75% payroll. Once again, it's to keep employees on the payroll for 8 weeks, and at least 75% of money is used for payroll. So this is more of a short-term but forgivable loan, whereas the idle is a non-forgivable loan, but a little bit more long-term. On the idle, you can apply and you can decline the money at any time prior to receiving it. There's no prepayment penalties, so you can pay it off at any time. One of the questions we had, and we don't know the answer to this, is can you take the PPP loan and pay off the idle loan? And the SBA was unable to answer that question at this time. So the answer is, I don't know. Hopefully that would be beneficial. Whether you could do it or not, I don't know. The next slide, please. These are sources that you could go to. You can also go to the SBA. Like I said, this is changing every day. They're still in the process of writing the procedures. So to get the latest information, please utilize these sources. And as the program goes along, we'll get a better feel for how it actually operates in actuality rather than in theory right now. The next slide, please. We just wanted to let you know that you're not in it alone. I, as an SBDC business advisor, offer my services at no cost to these small businesses, thanks to funding by cities such as the city of Auburn. So please come in and I guess today we Zoom in to talk to me. The next slide, please. There's 2 local counselors, myself and Kevin. Kevin is closer, he's a little bit further north in Kent. These are our email addresses. Just like everybody else, email's the way to reach us, the easiest way to reach us. There are 30 of us in the state of Washington, and we are actually a national program. So once again, it is no cost to the small business owner. Since we were formed by the SBA, we have a lot of information from the SBA. I was just on a webinar with them this morning trying to get as much updated information as I can to pass on. Our only goal is to help small businesses become more successful. Happy to sit down with anybody and talk to them about any topic they would like to cover. Right now, it's putting out fires and how do we survive this? The next page, please. Daryl Sindel and Marnie are PTAC counselors. So if you're involved in government contracting, They can help you. Right now, I don't have Marnie's email, but Daryl can give that to you. So this is another service that we offer, once again, at no cost to the small business owner. And the last page, please. This is our assistant. If you prefer to call, it's a lot easier to get through on emails these days, just because everybody's kind of fumbling through how this works right now. I also would like to encourage anybody to look at wsbdc.org. We have 2 webinars this Friday available free to you. One's at 1 p.m., very specific ways on business strategy, survivals. And we have a 3 o'clock webinar that will give us the current update on these loans, the current information, as current as possible on all of these loans. So once again, just a repeat, but updated. So that's 1 o'clock for business survival strategies and 3 o'clock for any updates on these loans, and just to give you as much information as possible so you can make the best decision possible. Once again, that's wsbdc.org. Or please feel free to contact me or Kevin for individualized counseling, or email me with any questions you might have. Both of us are very happy to help with whatever your needs are. Thank you.
Thank you, Taryn. That was great information.
Thank you.
I want to go back to Taryn's slide where she had the links for the PDFs on her slide that came from the Treasury, that was also kind of an overview of her slide. And I will state that we will have her slide on the city's website, her slide deck. But those PDF links, these are just the views of those. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on there, just kind of show you real quick what those are, provide some detail. But I also wanted to reiterate what Taryn said. Information on all of this is changing daily, if not by the hour. We are all working very hard with one another to I guess, let each other know, here's the latest information that we know, because it's constantly changing. You know, Taryn and I were speaking earlier, and honestly, I think our goal right now is just to try to stay one step ahead of the business owners out there, so that we know, where best we can direct them, whether it's the SBA's website or state government website, whatever that might be. So I do ask that, with that, please bear in mind, have some patience, because as you guys well know, and it's been well documented here, we're kind of in some uncharted territory for all of us. So we're all scrambling. We all want to help, which is bringing us all together to try to work with one another so that we can best help those businesses out there. We know you're struggling for the most part. We feel you, and we're there for you, and trying to do as best we can. And that's, a large part of why we brought or made this webinar available here today. So city's website. So if you go to the city's website, looks like that. Obviously, like many websites right now, it's got the COVID-19 update banner across the top. If you scroll down to our website, you've got, you can click on updates for the COVID, any COVID updates. And then from there, you can see what's available. You can also financial resources, which was that middle icon there, talks about some of the financial resources that are available. Again, I do want to reiterate, and it very well could be up because I sent it in earlier to be uploaded, but the slide deck that Taryn just ran through, because I know there's a lot of interest in that. I know both Doug and I and Taryn and some of those others that are service providers here on this this meeting have been hearing it from the public. There's a lot of interest in wanting to know what that PPP program looks like. How does that differ from the EIDL loan? And I think Taryn did a fabulous job of kind of describing that and pulling out some of those bullet points. But that slide deck, there's a lot of information that's been shared here. So that slide deck, as well as some others, we'll make available. But again, also, we know that there's more. There's utility information. I'm sure all of you have heard Puget Sound Energy is willing to waive late fees. They're not shutting off utilities. The city of Auburn, same thing. Food assistance, where to go for there, whether it's you individually or if you've got employees. Everybody's got their own situation going on, and as Tim was saying earlier, you as the business owner, you're kind of the leader for your group, and so there's some additional responsibility that comes with that, and again, some of that is just knowing where to point those employees that might have needs, where to point them. So here's another, again, food assistance, insurance for the state commissioner's office. I'm sure you're all well aware, at least it seems like it to me in my contact with the business community out there. You guys are well aware that there's been moratoriums placed from Seattle down through Auburn included, where there's no evictions, both residential or commercial evictions. So you can read that proclamation here, as well as different announcements. I think there's a lot of stuff here I don't think we need to go over. We want to provide some time for question and answer. But again, I just want to reiterate that this information is constantly changing, especially right now with the signing of the stimulus package at the federal end. And so we're all scrambling, trying to get the best information that we can. So I think by and large, whether it's the city's website, the chamber, their website, Port of Seattle, there's a multitude of them out there. By and large, we all were having some of the same information because that's what was available. And for the last maybe week or so, the information has been what it is. So it's been somewhat stagnant, other than individual daily updates as to the number of the counts of people that have been affected, died, so on and so forth. Now with the stimulus package and that coming down, you're going to start seeing a lot of changes, a lot of these programs becoming available. So again, we're all trying to do the best we can to figure out what exactly that looks like so that we can get it out to you. We really feel like that getting good information out to you, or at least the information is best to us, getting it out to you as the business community quickly is more important than not getting anything out there and wait until we have all the facts. So again, I've touched on it a few times, Taryn's touched on it, but bear with us. We're doing everything we can to get you the best, most relevant information as we know it today. That could change tomorrow. So
thank you, Josh. We're getting close to our end time on our projected schedule, but what I wanted to throw out, and I don't have a day and a time yet, but this was our first run at doing an informational webinar. We are going to set up and have a call once a week, similar to this, probably a little bit more of an open format. The Chamber of Commerce, the SBDC, and other principals are going to help come up with subjects, information, presentations. We'll use it as an open forum to update. As Josh said, we're getting daily information on it. So we will continue through Matt's help to push that webinar date and time out to keep it fresh in everybody's minds. And hopefully we can grow the audience, or you can help us spread the word with the information that we are coming up with to your neighbors and your fellow business cohorts. And do any of the speakers have anything they'd like to say here at the end?
I would just like to say something. This is Taryn Hornby. I just want every small business owner to know that SBA is really trying to help and really trying to assist them through these loan programs. They are not as strict as they normally are. The goal is to just get money out there and help these small businesses survive in the meantime.
Great, thank you. And with that, I'll thank all of the speakers. A lot of great information. Again, this will be recorded and we will make it available off of our social media channels and website, so for it to be reviewed and seen over and over again. Along with that, we will post a speakers information page so that you'll know how to get a hold of them if you'd like to have more of a one-on-one or contract with them for help for your business. And with that said, thank you very much, and we'll do this again next week. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.